Hi everyone, it's Nancy. Hope everyone is doing well. I wanted to come on and talk about snippet rolls. There's a lot of videos out there. A lot of girls have done them. They're made with fabric and paper. They're put on spools and they're just so cute. And then sometimes you cut them up and use them on your ephemera, things like that. And I thought it would be fun to make some. And you know, the gals usually have them on pretty vintage spools. I don't have any of those spools. So I thought, well, what can we use to make spools? So I'm going to show you my ideas for that. Also, I just have to show you my cute tray. Like, let me see if I could just tilt it up and show you. Do you see the front of the tray? Okay. Yeah, I got it at Target. I got two of them actually. So they're in the holiday area, you know, by the dollar bins. So it wasn't $1. I think it was $5, but actually I had a coupon and I got it free with my coupon, I would say. So anyway, getting back to that, it's fun to when you work in pretty little things, you know, little sections where you can dump all your cute things out and look at them and play with them. Okay, so back to the spool deal. So I thought, well, what can we use to make spools? So here's what I came up with. I went to Hobby Lobby and I bought a pack of 1.5 inch wooden discs. You get 22 of them in a package. Okay, so I bought those wooden discs. Then I thought, what could we use for spools? So here's what I came up with, a few ideas. This is the core of your saran wrap or your foil. It's like a smaller core and it's a hard cardboard core. So what I did was I glued a disc on each end. You can cut it as wide as you want. And then I glued a disc on each end, and once it was dry overnight, I took my vintage photo and I just ran vintage photo all around it. And I think it turned out pretty cute. And I thought, well, what else can we use? So then I thought, well, this I've seen, I'm sure you've seen it, I've seen wine corks. So I have a nice little collection of wine corks, and don't laugh, my friends that know me, when I said that. Okay, so anyway, some corks are longer than others, but I found a couple corks that were kind of long, and I glued them on each end of the cork too. Once they dried, I ran the vintage photo on there too, and I thought, well, those are cute too. And I thought, well, what else can we use? Well, if you're a sewer, you could always paint your empty thread spools, right? And then the other thing I thought we could use, since the holiday season is coming up, you're probably going to be using a lot of ribbon to wrap gifts and make bows and things for your house. So this is thin. Obviously, this is thin and it's nice and thick and wide. But you know what you could do? You could just collage over this. You know, you can collage over this. It'll make it stronger. You can even cut an extra piece of cardboard and glue it on the top. But I thought, well, how about that? So that's an idea too. So those were my ideas for spools. So I want to show you kind of a little recipe for a snippet roll that I came up with. We're going to do a fabric one. And then maybe in another video, I'll do a paper one. Okay. So I made my snippet roll, and this is a fabric one, and I did sew it. You don't have to sew it. Maybe we'll do one, the next one we're going to do now. I won't sew it, but we'll just put it together. But you don't have to sew it, right? Especially the paper ones, I don't think you have to. So anyway, this is a spool I made with the other piece of the foil core, or the saran wrap core that was in my container. And so that's my snippet roll, and I think it looks really, really cute. And it doesn't have to, I don't think it has to be a vintage spool. And wouldn't this be a cute gift to put in Happy Mail or somebody's, one of your friends' stockings? And this little tie is just the remnant of the edge of the fabric. I just ripped a piece of fabric and used it as a tie. So let me untie this and show you my snippet roll, and I'll give you kind of my recipe for it. Okay, so let me make sure I'm in screen here. And it's just a plain piece of muslin, or any kind of, you could use any kind of fabric you want. So here's my snippet roll. So I'll go slow so you can see it. I had so much fun doing this. I mean, it's not super elaborate, but I think it's really cute. I think it's super cute. Look at this. And it's really easy. I kind of came up with a step-by-step recipe for it. So, you know, you won't get overwhelmed with it, okay? And you can do it. Yes, you can do this. You can do it. So don't think you can't, okay? And see, there's my core. There's my core, okay? So let me put this here. I'll show you one more time. I'll just kind of go through it here. Okay. All right. So let me go through some of the things that I used, okay? First of all, I was telling you about fabric. So any kind of fabric, we're going to make a fabric one first, and then I think in another video we'll do a paper one. So just a strip of fabric. Now this strip here, I'm going to use on a cork roll here, okay? So I measured it. Let's see here. I tore it, so it's about 1 3/4 wide, this one that I tore here. And I think a good length to start with is 3 feet. So this strip, the one I just showed you that I made, and this strip here is a 3-foot wide strip. I think that's like a perfect size to use. So depending on what size spool you're going to use, you're going to measure the inside here, and then tear a piece of fabric and try to use at least 36 inches of fabric, okay? So that's what I did first. The second step after that, I'll do them, but I'm going to tell you the steps first. The second step I did was to get some stamps, Christmas stamps. Now this one is a reindeer. I have a little tree and a little like a seal. It says the most wonderful time of the year. And then this one here, you can't see it, but it's like a ticket, and it says Christmas wishes for you and yours. So I just pulled a few little stamps out, okay? I have some cute tissue. I have some tickets, Tim Holtz tape, and then I did buy myself this cute, his vintage, his collage paper. Then I have some Christmas collage tiles, some of these little bits and pieces of his, and then these are his mini dolls in here, okay? And then I did get his sticker book here too. I treated myself to that. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do, and then the other thing that's fun to use is from the Dollar Tree. I got these nettings, and I used the green one on the snippet roll I showed you. Here's a pretty white that looks like snow too, and a blue. I want to make a blue one, like a winter blue one for my journal. So, you know, these are from Dollar Tree, and these would be fun to use. Or any kind of netting or ribbon or whatever, and then any kind of tissue. I happen to have this pretty tissue. I think I got this at Hobby Lobby too in the party section. Okay, so start looking for things to make your snippet, your actual spools with, and to me, I think they're fantastic. And then you can make a whole bunch for yourself and for gifts for your friends. Okay, so I'm just going to move this up a little bit here. So the next thing you're going to do, like I said, is find yourself a piece of fabric. I have plain fabric. It looks like it's tea-dyed fabric, but I didn't tea-dye it. It just is that way. And if you use a printed fabric, that's fine. Maybe you don't have to do any stamping on it then, because it'll already have a design on it. But because mine is plain, I thought it would be fun to do some stamping. So the first thing I want to do is get my stamps ready, which I do have here, and get some inks. And it doesn't matter what kind of ink you use, whatever you have. You're not going to wash it. So the first thing I want to do is do some stamping. So I'm just going to start, and don't overthink. Don't overthink it. Just start working on it. So I'm going to grab my reindeer first. Let me get a piece of paper to stamp on here so I don't get it all over my table. All right. Let me just move this a little further. Here we go. Don't overthink it, because you're just going to cover up everything, okay? So start at one end and just start stamping. And it doesn't have to be perfect. I just go along. And that'll be our first step, that we're just going to do some stamping. I'm just using some brown some brown ink that I have here. Getting these threads out of the way. So this is the first step. I'm not even really, I'm just going along, snapping it on. And really, once you do one, you'll feel comfortable and you'll go faster. The first one, you know, takes you maybe a little longer, and that's okay. The next stamp I want to do is maybe the tree. So I'm going to get out my green, some green ink. Let's do that. Oops. And then I got too much ink on my block here. Let me wipe that off. And then let's just start stamping some trees around. Higher, lower, anywhere. Just like that. Oops, boy, I really got some ink, a lot of ink on there. A juicy pad I have here. Okay, I have to have a lighter hand, I guess. I'm too heavy-handed on it. Okay, so there's that one. And then let me get red, some red, and maybe we'll do this one here that says Christmas on it. Make sure I have it right. And I'll stamp that along. And my area here is a little small, so I'm a little cramped here, but if you have a bigger area, it'll probably go faster for you. Just like that. Okay, and then I have that little round seal, so I just picked like a lighter green. And let's just throw some of that in there. Let's see, do it there. Oh, can barely see it though. I know you probably can't see it on the camera. I can kind of see it, but maybe we'll just add some of this. Then that's just to fill in. And like I said, if you have printed fabric, you probably could even eliminate that step of stamping. Although I have to tell you, give it a try because it is a lot of fun. Okay? All right, so once you did some stamping, the next thing I did was to put some netting, some of this dollar store netting on. So here, and I'm going to just put this one up in front so you could kind of see what's going on, how it compares. So let me get some of this, and being that this snippet roll was bigger, you know, I had more room. This is a smaller one, so I'm just going to cut some off for myself. And then just cut some small pieces. And I used a glue stick to do this, just to kind of tack it down, because I knew I was going to run my machine over it. If you're not going to sew, I would probably use a dab of fabric tack or your art glitter glue or your Barely Arts, whatever glue you use. And this one dries clear, so I'm not worried about that. I see some of the glue. So let's just cut some of this up. And I thought this is cute because it kind of looks like snow, the little white on there. Let's see, maybe I'll cut a little more. Okay. I'm not overthinking this. I'm just going to slap it down. Just moving some of those loose threads. And it could go over the edge too. You know, you don't want to contain it. It's kind of fun when some of it goes over the edge. So we'll do that. A little messy, huh, with the glue stick, but it works. I mean, it'll hold it down for you until you're ready to, you know, sew it. And that's the reason I'm using glue stick, is because I probably will run some stitching over this. But the paper one, the next one we'll do, I won't glue. I won't use stitching. We'll just do it with paper only. So that'll be the next video. But I thought this one I'll show you first. I have a lot of threads hanging here. You can always cut those off later. Okay. All right. There we go. So once you have enough of your netting on, the next thing that I did was I put some tissue. So let's just rip some small pieces of tissue. I don't care, you can cut it if you want to cut it, but I think it's nicer if you have just small pieces of it. Just rip it up into you know, size you want to use. So let's do some of that. If I could pick it up here. Okay. And yeah, you can't overthink it. You just have to do it, because if you start thinking about where you're putting it and how it's going to look, it's not going to be fun. It won't be fun to do. So I tried not to think about it there, and I was happy with my result. And you don't have to put everything long ways, you know, put some things up and down like that. Maybe just a little bit more I need here. Okay. You can put more if you like, you know, more of your netting or more of your tissue. I'm just gonna do a quickie video here for you to get the idea. So after you did the tissue, the next thing I did was add some of my ticket. Okay, so my tickets are new off a roll, and I didn't want them to be so bright red. I just didn't want that look. So what I did was I crushed them up, and I didn't care if they ripped, because I'm going to rip them in half anyway. Crushed them up like this, and then take your vintage photo and just go over it with your sponge, ink it up, get it grungy looking. And that's how I did that. And then maybe I'll do another. And look around your, you know, in your stash of things. You might have other things that you would think that would go really cute on here too. But this is just, I think, a good base to start with, you know. But once you get the hang of this, you can say, hey, I have this in my stash, or this and that, and this might look cute on it. Okay. So then I just ripped them. Wasn't even looking to see how I was ripping them. Just rip them up. And then here we go. I'm going to put some on. Just like that. Upside down, sideways. It doesn't matter. I'm not going to think about it. Oh, that's a big clump of glue there I got, huh? Okay. How are we doing on time? I'm going to try to keep the videos to a half an hour, because I don't think my phone's going to let me go further than that. So that's why we're going to have to probably do some two-part videos. But if I can at least get it together here, not sewn, but at least get it together for you to see, to get the idea. Okay. All right. So once you get some tickets on, you can put some other papers on. You can use some of the Tim Holtz paper, his wallpaper. You can use some of these snippets. We can use some of these now. So let me put some out here. And these are nice because they're small. They come in small sizes, but you could tear your papers into little sizes. And they come in different colors too. So let's put some of these on. It doesn't matter. And then I took some of his other ones here. You can use some of these. Let's see what else we could use here. And then we can also use some of his tape here too. We could try this. I didn't use that in the other one, so maybe we could use some of this. Well, it's really super sticky. I would say if you're going to use this, I wouldn't sew through this. The stick on this is really strong, so I'm not going to use this on this one that I'm going to sew. But we could use it when we make the paper one, so I won't use it on that. I'll just stick to paper only. Okay, and then on here, you can either rip these or cut them. And hold on, I'm going to get the wallpaper. I forgot to get the wallpaper out. I did get his wallpaper, so we can even take a piece of this out and try it. Let's see what we can do. These are so pretty. Oh, I don't want to waste time picking anything, but let's see. Let me see what else we could use here. Anyway, let's go back to this. I'll just try to use what I have here for now. But these here we can cut up. Like that. Let's just start putting some down. Put on some Christmas music while you're doing this. That would be fun. And you can load this up even more than I did here on this one. But let's see what else we can do. I like some of these littler ones too, would be good. And you can start, you know, it just starts filling in now, which is kind of nice. If I could pick these up, that would be really good, wouldn't it? And it doesn't matter if they're upside down, whatever. We could even do, maybe we can do some of this Tim Holtz paper. Let's try some of this tissue. I'm just going to rip some off here. Try some of that. Oh, cute. It's got music on it. Oh, it's relaxing actually. It's kind of fun. Okay. You know, if you want to add more red, if you want to add more green, like that. You can fussy tear some of this green out here. Let's see. Like that. Okay, I have about 5 minutes left. And then I'm going to end the video. So I think we can get it done at least. Let's see. Okay. Just to get an idea. So I threw some of that Tim Holtz collage paper on there. Okay. And, you know, I could probably add more to it if I wanted. I'm just trying to make sure we're done in time. And then the last thing, and you don't have to do this, but the last thing is I like to add some of the Tim Holtz paper dolls. And these are the minis. So you would have to go along and see which ones you want. Some of them, they're mini, but some of these are big for here. So you have to look for some really tiny ones. And if you don't have Tim Holtz paper dolls, you can use like fussy cuts, like poinsettias, Christmas trees, things like that. Some of these dolls here are cute and tiny. I'm trying to find one. Like here's a sitting lady. She would be cute on here. So we could, you know, we could glue her there. And then let's see if I can find any more. Well, here's a man sitting, so he can kind of be, and that's okay if they hang off too. You know, I think it looks, even though the one I made there. Oh, the other thing is, if you do have things hanging off, here's the thing though. This guy might be too big, depending on your spool. Okay, so the fabric is as wide as your spool. Now, for these papers and things that are hanging off, that's not going to get in the way, but definitely if you're going to put something more sturdier on, or like the doll, see, like she wouldn't work on there. So we do have to find some images that are smaller. Like this little guy here, he's small. So I'd have to go through the images, you know, and see which ones I could find. See, so he works really well because he's pretty much on the fabric. And then this little guy here, he could be leaning on a ticket or on the tree here. We can put him. And then I would just use glue stick and just tack him down. And then once I have enough people, or like I said, if you use stickers like poinsettias or trees or holly, you don't have to use Tim Holtz people. You can use anything you want. Once I did that, I just stitched once down the middle. I stitched a 1/4 inch from each edge, and then I went in between there. And it's not perfect, and I don't think it has to be perfect. And I stitched, it caught everything. And then the last thing I did was to take some of the Tim Holtz words here out of this pad, and I stuck them on after I sewed. Because they're so thin, I didn't want to stitch through those. So I went ahead and glued them with my art glitter glue, or Barely Arts glue, whatever you have. I went through there and glued on some of those little labels. And I stitched right through the people, and that, I don't think that matters, you know, how that looks. So that's just a close-up of the one I did. So give it a try. Try a fabric one. It's simple. Look around in your stash. See what you have. Make yourself some spools, and then I think this is a super cute gift to give to your friends, something different. So in the next video, we're going to make like a blue wintry one, and we're going to use papers. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this. Let me know if you have any ideas, or you know, if you enjoyed the video, give me a thumbs up. And thanks so much for hanging out with me. See you later.